Wolfwalkers is Cartoon Saloon's fourth full-length animated feature. The first three are The Secret of Kells, The Song of the Sea, and The Breadwinner, all of which are so distinct from the others and all richly animated with great characters. I could honestly rave about these movies all day long. But a new challenger has entered the ring with Wolfwalkers, and in my opinion, it is the best movie that Cartoon Saloon has put out, which is really incredible because all of their other movies are already so good. But I have to admit, Wolfwalkers is the best of them. Wolfwalkers is about a girl named Robin who moves to Ireland with her father so that he can hunt down the last of the wolves near Kilkenny, Ireland. And the wolves are threatening the woodcutters that are cutting down the forest near the town. But when she wanders into the woods to prove herself a hunter like her father, she meets a young girl named Maeve who is a wolf walker, someone who is a girl during the day, but when she sleeps, her soul leaves her body and becomes a wolf. From there, the story focuses on the friendship of these two girls, but also the tensions between the town of Kilkenny and the wolves that live in the forest. Wolfwalkers did have a theatrical release, but as of right now, it is only available on Apple TV Plus, which is kind of a bummer because that will limit viewers, and everyone needs to see this movie, honestly. If you have a way of starting a free trial on Apple TV Plus, this movie alone is worth it. I'm going to start with the most obvious thing, the animation. Cartoon Saloon has such a distinct, such a rich animation style, and they all have a very distinct look for their films, both in characters and backgrounds, and this movie is no different. A defining feature of their films in terms of animation is just the high level of detail in characters, but especially in backgrounds and special effects. This film is just amazing to look at. Some of my favorite shots are anything to do with the magic regarding the Wolfwalkers. It's truly mesmerizing, and honestly the animation just gets better and more interesting as the film goes on. If you have a way to watch this in 4K, you absolutely must do it, just so you don't miss any of the rich details that are in this film. It's amazing. But honestly, you'll come for the animation style, which is initially what brought me into The Secret of Kells back when it was first released. But just like then, and with Wolfwalkers, you're going to stay for the characters. Robin is such a great main character. She's funny and witty and sassy and curious. The film mostly centers on Robin's relationships with her father and Meb, and they're constantly becoming more complex, constantly evolving. And it leaves the viewer constantly wondering what could happen next. It really does feel like anything could happen. Any one of the characters could make a decision out of left field that takes your breath away. And like I said, Robin is a top tier main character, but honestly, Meb steals the show. She's such a great character. Her animation is so interesting and fluid and dynamic. She's hilarious. She's sympathetic. She's got a big attitude, and she's honestly just a delight every moment that she's on screen. My only gripe with this film is a character, and it's the villain, Oliver Cromwell, who is, oddly enough, a real historical figure, and yet obviously the events of the film are not historically accurate. Throughout the film, he's mostly just referred to as the Lord Governor. And my problem with him is he's too similar to Frollo. If you've ever seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame, he relies on religion as a motivation. He's very self-righteous, and I don't know, he just comes across as too Frollo-esque to me. And honestly, Frollo's just a better villain than he is. So that did get a little distracting, but he does a fine job as a villain, and so I'm honestly not gonna knock the film for this. So now we come to story, and honestly, story is important, characters are even more important, and because this film has just such great, strong characters, the story ends up being strong, because the story is all built upon the interplay between the characters. And so every event in this film is a direct result of the choices of the characters. And so everything feels like there's gravitas to it, like there's weight to it. Nothing feels pointless because everything is branching off of the decisions that these characters make. So once the film establishes the characters, it then begins to rely on tension between the characters, which is really great because at this point you're already invested in the characters. And that tension just rides all the way through to the very end of the film, all the way through the climax. It's really powerful stuff. And speaking of the climax, which again, this is a spoiler for your review, so don't click away, but the climax is white knuckling and emotional. There's so much that happens and the pace is so brisk. It goes just fast enough, any faster, and the movie would have definitely become overwhelming. But it's just the perfect amount of tension and emotions riding high. It all just works beautifully. It's emotionally satisfying, but draining all at the same time, but in the best way. And so everything else from there is icing on the cake with this movie. The voice acting is on point. Everyone brings their all to this, and it just makes you fall in love with the characters even more. They sound human. There's so many great, funny, laugh out loud moments. The world building for the Wolfwalkers themselves is interesting. They could have gone into more detail, but that honestly might have bloated the runtime. And so some viewers might be left feeling like they don't really know a lot about the Wolfwalkers, but the film does give you just enough detail to where you can keep up and be interested. So from here, I'll wrap up. This is a near perfect film. There's very few qualms that I have with this movie. Honestly, the villain is pretty much the only one. Everything else is just near perfect. It's dark and tense enough to keep you on the edge of your seat, but it's also heartfelt and emotional, and the superbly realized characters keep you hooked. All the other Cartoon Saloon films have been nominated for Best Animated Film, but honestly, this one might finally be the one to take the prize home. We do have 2 Pixar movies to contend with this year, so the Best Picture usually ends up going to either Disney or Pixar film, so we'll see what happens. I really hope Wolfwalkers wins. It truly deserves to. This is a must-watch film for all ages. You cannot skip Wolfwalkers. Thank you so much for watching this review of Wolfwalkers. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, that would be greatly appreciated. If you've seen this movie and want to share your own thoughts, feel free to leave a comment below, and a subscription would be greatly appreciated as well. So thank you for watching Filmographer.